Hello everyone. In this video we're going to cover the pros and cons of using Google Slides versus PowerPoint to kind of create original images and kind of creating backgrounds for your Google Slides. Now part of the reason that I'm showing you this way is because it's not only Google Slides that we might need to use this for. PowerPoint is just kind of that very nice program to keep on your computer that doesn't hold extra memory for your internet. And so personally, it also really helps me with Seesaw because Seesaw also gives me a little bit of trouble when I'm trying to form kind of an image out of their squares and circles. It takes a long time. I can't copy the entire thing. I'd have to rebuild it on the next page. And so, especially for the younger K1-2 teachers, it's going to help you for Google Slides and for Seesaw. And then for 4, 5, 6, nope, sorry guys. 3, 4, 5. And for pull-out teachers, when you're using Google Classroom, you are going to be using Google Slides all the time. And so this option is really good for you to know to make sure that you're not spending extra time. Now, again, I'm using Screencast-O-Matic to make this video, so if you have any questions on how to use that, you can go to that section on the website. Now here I just have some examples up here for Google Slides that I've already made. Now, this page right here took me a bit of time to make, but I did not make it on Google Slides because I actually had to take, I just searched a 10 block and divided into 10 little portions, and I stretched it out and then copied and pasted for each of those sections and added the lines for where I needed them, and then was able to copy and paste each month. Now, one of the reasons that I didn't want to do this on Google Slides is because you can't move as precisely, so that when you're moving this portion to match with this portion, sometimes it doesn't match up exactly. You just have fewer squares within Google Slides that it's allowing you to move, whereas PowerPoint has much more sensitive pieces of data where you can move that to. So that's one of them. Now this one I shared with my students where they were only able to view it and not edit it. And so it wasn't a big deal if I put this in just as a picture. Since I'm the only one who's editing it, it's not that big a deal if it suddenly moves because I know exactly how to fix it and it takes less time. All I had to do was just slide it over from my screenshots there, just slide it into this portion and then copy and paste as I needed it. So that's why this one, I just put it in as a picture and didn't worry about the background. Now, this one as well, I actually made this one in Google Slides, and this one took me a lot longer. Now, once I had that original square here that you see, that first slide, then I could just copy and paste and then change the colors. But what I'm going to do later is kind of show you the time comparison of making it on Slides versus PowerPoint. Now, the reason that I did choose to do it in Slides, even though it took longer, is because I wanted to be able to edit this portion down here. And this is a sticker book for my students, kind of marking when they finish certain skills. And so I want to have the sticker there for them, kind of for that fun element. But then for me, it's really important to have that date. That communicates information to the parent and for me to see the increment between how frequently they're learning that new skill. So that's why I needed this portion to be editable in Google Slides, which wouldn't have been as possible. I would have had to just do it a different way. And then the final one I wanted to show is just this visual schedule. Here, the students have editing access. And because of that, this background cannot move at all, or my students are going to just completely change what's in here. It's not going to work well. So I had to actually put this one in as a background image so that all they can change is what I would like them to change. So that's kind of that overview of maybe pros and cons for using the using PowerPoint versus the other one. Now I'm just going to show you my PowerPoint. I call it my Seesaw clipboard. You can name it whatever you'd like, but essentially it's a clipboard. And what I like to just do is have frequently used images saved here. I'm always using base 10 blocks. I use this TV to indicate on Seesaw when students need to do a video. This is just a rubric so that it's already pre-made. All I have to do is add text, and then I'm not having to add in extra things. Now, 3, 4, 5 teachers, you guys do have a separate way to do this in Google Classroom, which might be more comfortable, but this is just my thinking behind adding it into Seesaw. So all of these are just my frequently used images, and you can see mine's gotten a little bit cluttered, so I really need to clean it up. But I've got all of my stickers for that sticker chart just saved, so all I have to do is just push copy and then go right over here and push paste. Okay. Now, just to kind of preface, the reason that I did not make this this clipboard in a Google slide is because Google Slides does not always let you copy and put into another program. I don't know the specific list, but for example, I cannot copy this sticker from Google Slides and put it into my Seesaw. It just will not work. It's not going to adapt. Whereas if you do it from the PowerPoint, it just somewhat universally copies over. And so that's, again, one of the reasons why I've chosen this. Another thing is that Google Slides uses your internet, and especially when you're using so many different tabs, when you're trying to use it, it just can run more slowly. PowerPoint is not using the internet, it is only using your computer memory. Sorry guys, I don't know technical terms for any of this, but it means that it's never going to slow down what you are trying to do in Google Slides. Okay, and so that's why if you need to create something that's a bit more involved and needs more detail, that's why you'd want to make it in the PowerPoint and then copy it over into the Google Slides, because you're not going to have to wait as long for that loading element. You know, when you kind of try to move text, it's always slightly delayed and it always moves a little bit further than you want it to. And that's just because you're working through the internet and not just directly on your computer's active memory. So I know that was a lot, but that's why I'm specifically recommending this. Now, I did include a YouTube video that has a teacher that I love who goes through and makes educational technology videos. She does recommend building some of these things in Google Slides. If that's what you choose, that's completely fine. But for her take on the subject, just take a look at those videos under creating assignments in Google Slides. A lot of it is the same principle. The only thing that's really different is, one, that you can move it into more programs than you could just with Google Slides. And then the second is going to be, what was the second one? Oh guys. The second one is just going to be the ease of creating it. So what I'm going to do real quickly is just show you the time frame it takes to actually build this piece here versus in Google Slides. So I'm just going to create a new slide, and we're just going to go real quickly and kind of show you how much more smoother it's going to move in PowerPoint than it will in Google Slides. And I just need to move this around a little. So all I'm doing is I'm taking my square, I'm putting it there, I'm changing the color to that red that I like and doing the black, and then I'm just adding one more square, and I'm going through and I'm just making that larger section, making sure that I don't have a fill and that I do have that black line. So here's my basic. I'm just going to highlight all of it, copy and paste, and then slide it right next to it. Oops, I just made it a little too high. And then I can copy and paste all of this so that now I have 4. And then all I need to do is change the color of the box in the middle. Let's see here. I like this yellow color, and then we're doing this lighter green and then this darker green to indicate a 4. And then all I have to do is click in the box. And I probably should have done this to begin with, but you can select the font type that you're using, and when you click and copy, then that's just going to save it on all of them. Right now, I'll show you if I try clicking in here and just typing a word, it just reverts back to those old text forms. So if I would have changed that first square to have the right text and everything, then I would have been all set. Now another thing is I can highlight all of those and I can say that I just want them bigger. That's not something that you can so much, maybe that you can so much do. But here I was talking through the whole thing, so I didn't look at the time, but maybe about a minute and a half. So creating that same object in Google Slides, I have this ready presentation here so that we can just start from scratch. I'm going to have to take out my box just like before, put that in there. This part doesn't take very long at all. And then what I'm going to do is add my extra box here. And I want transparent with black. Okay, and this is the point where I highlighted all of it and I copied and I pasted. So that did translate over. But then what you're seeing here is just that they're, the order in which I did those was different. So now I'm having to move this around to make that the color that I want it to be. Oops, I wanted that yellow. And then when I want to copy all of it, so again, here I have to move that down because it made it in front of it instead of behind it. So I'm just having to move pieces around. Now this is not the worst example. I could have chosen something a little bit more complicated, but I didn't want to take too much time off of the actual video. And so part of this too is just I'm not as comfortable with it as I am with PowerPoint, but you just kind of see that just over the entire span, there's just extra steps. And it just takes just a tiny bit longer than what it did on the other one. And so it's just really what you find is comfortable for yourself. And it's just kind of a matter of preference. Let's see here. See in there, I just moved it a little bit more than I meant it to. Let's see here. Clicking there, we want centered. And then with the other one, when I was pushing copy and paste, it just went directly into the center without me having to direct it on every single page or on every single shape. And then you're going to see it's just small, but you've got this little tiny overextension of that shape. And then when I try just to push the down arrow, it doesn't quite fit back to where I wanted it to. And that's just what I'm talking about kind of with the different sensitivities. You can get it to work. It just takes that little extra step. Now just to kind of see, because again, it could be user error. Now I have the number and the shape. I'm going to push send to back, so that now this shape is on top, and I'm going to try copying and pasting again. So copy and paste, and you see there I didn't mean to copy both of those, but it did. And so I'm going to have to just go through and delete that. Kind of trying to make this easier on myself, and I'm making it just about the same amount of work as before. So there you go, is kind of that time comparison. That took me about 2.5, maybe 3 minutes to do that one versus about the 1 minute in PowerPoint. And then just to show you how easy it is to transfer, I just have to highlight all of that, click copy, and then go right in here and then push paste, and I've got my image. Now when I do it like that, I can't separate the boxes, so my original is always going to be in that PowerPoint. If I needed to change anything, I'd have to go back there. But it's very simple to get that into that portion. And then here, oh, let's see, and again, it just copied, it selected everything. Here with Google Slides, you can group still items, so you can move this then as one piece if you were needing to do that. So some of those are very similar. I think it has a lot of very good features. Because it's working off of the internet, it just sometimes takes a little bit of time. I'm going to stop the